بسم الله نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We are continuing with our talk about the biography of the four great Muslim jurists, or the history of the four great Imams in jurisprudence. We have started so far with the first Imam who established his madhab as madhab Abi Hanifa, and he is Imam ibn Thabit, whom I have said was born in the 1st century Hijri in the year 80. So he's included in that group which Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Khayrukum qarni thumma alladhina yalunahum." The best one of you, or the best century, is the century which I am in, and that is the century of the Prophet, even though by then quite a number of the Sahaba had died, but it is narrated that he met quite a number of Sahabas, including Anas ibn Malik. Abi Hanifa, we have talked about him when he grew up. He had memorized the Qur'an, the Qira'ah of Asim, and he took the Qira'ah from Asim himself as one of the people who have got those 7 Qira'at. And then after that, he started Ilm al-Kalam and other type of ilm before he went into fiqh. And after being advised to sit down to the Shaykh or Shuyukh by Ash-Sha'bi, one of the scholars also of the Tabi'een, he gave it a serious thought, and he sat under the Shaykh Hamad ibn Abi Sulaiman and spent 18 years with him. It does not necessarily mean that when he was with this Shaykh, he was not also learning from other shuyukh. We will talk about his shuyukh, but we have been told that he had so many shaykhs, and this is typical of the scholars and tulab al-ilm, the students of knowledge during that time. They will learn from various shaykh, because we know that sometimes the few individuals will be excelling in this and that subject, and even if not, you get to know some other things. Specifically at that time, hadiths have not yet been compiled properly, so you get also a hadith from various sources. He used to travel quite a lot to Baytullah al-Haram for Hajj, and also spent some time with other sheikhs in Mecca. He says himself that تلقيت فقه عمر وفقه علي وفقه عبد الله بن مسعود وفقه ابن عباس. I received the fiqh of Umar ibn Khattab. Umar ibn Khattab was a great faqih. He was giving right, and the Qur'an was reconciling with his suggestion in quite a number of verses. He was gifted in interpreting the issues about religion. And again, he lived so close to the Prophet and very close as a second-hand man to Abu Bakr for the 2 years and 3 months which Abu Bakr ruled as a Khalifa. And he himself had a long period of ruling, 10.5 years. And of course, during that time when you are ruler, you are the Imam, you are almost everything, guiding everything, and usually you should be among the most learned individuals, and he was. Fiqh Umar, most of it was later with Abdullah bin Umar, his son, who was one of the Fuqaha of Medina, a great scholar of Medina. And then also with Nafi' Mawla Abdullah bin Umar. Nafi' was a servant of Abdullah bin Umar. So Abi Hanifa must have got from Nafi' and the associate. And then the fiqh Ali radiallahu anhu. Ali radiallahu anhu, as we know, as a lad before bulugh, before he actually became an adult, was taken by the Prophet ﷺ from his father Abu Talib to reduce his burden, and the lived with the Prophet before the Prophet became a messenger of Allah. So definitely he learned a lot. And then when the Prophet ﷺ got married to Khadija, still Ali was with them. I think it was just around that time because Ali was very small during the time of accepting Islam. And he was among the youth who accepted Islam very early. And then Ali was very close to the Prophet as the son-in-law of the Prophet. And then he lived a very long life after the death of the Prophet, about 30 years. During all the Khulafa Rashidin, him being the last one, so he must also have learned a lot of fiqh. And this fiqh, Abu Hanifa said, he also learned quite a lot of fiqh Ali. And fiqh Abdullah bin Mas'ud. Abdullah bin Mas'ud is one of the new converts to Islam. He accepted Islam at a very early stage, and he was a learned individual. He says himself, there is no verse which I don't know when it was revealed and sabab al-nuzul and why it was revealed. He had his own mushaf, which he was using. Of course, quite a number of Sahaba had their own mushaf because the mushaf were compiled during the time of Abu Bakr, and they were copied during the time of Uthman bin Affan. So these people had their own mushaf. Abdullah bin Mas'ud was a great alim, so he said he got his fiqh also. And the fiqh Ibn Abbas, a cousin of the Prophet ﷺ, who the Prophet said, Allahumma faqhu fi d-din wa 'allimhu at-ta'wil. Oh Allah, teach him ad-din, and the fiqh is not just knowing the religion. And yuridillah bihi khayran yufaqihu fi d-din. If Allah loves you, He makes you faqih. Faqih is not just knowing about the fiqh, is knowing the secret of the ahkam much more than just memorizing it or just knowing the way it is narrated. Knowing how to apply and the way you can change from this to that, the ta'wil. And this was dua of Rasulullah to this individual, Hibru Hadi al-Ummah. Abdullah bin Abbas is one of the great scholars of this Ummah. So he learned also his fiqh. Then, as we said, initially Abu Hanifa was a tradesman, dealing with clothes, buying and selling. And he started becoming serious at the age of 22, as we said earlier, or yesterday or the day before, and continued with Hamad ibn Abi Sulaiman until at the age of 40. That is the time he started having his own halaqa, his own circle, and he is the leader. During this time, before he started specializing in ilm al-fiqh and after, until his death, we are being told by the narrators of his history, he still maintained to be a trader. He did not leave his business. He was still a businessman. And as we said yesterday, getting his living from his own sweat. What is being said is that he managed to get a partner, Sharik, who was a very honest person, so that he could spend less time in the trade. And this person runs the business and he supervises it. And this is the best way to combine two types of specialization. The ilm and also spreading the ilm, and at the same time you have got your own income. Historians say he used to divide his day this way. He would start normally with Salat al-Subh and all other issues until Waqt al-Duha. Between Waqt al-Duha ila al-Ula until 1 o'clock, let's say around 9 a.m. until 1, he will be at his business. That's the climax. That's the most important part in the business, definitely. And then after that, he will go on. If it is learning when he was learning, if it is teaching when he became a teacher, really, he's no longer learning entirely. And then he will keep Saturday for his own home issues. And Friday, he will invite his friends for a meal. This is how he used to spend his day. Now, I said yesterday, we will try to look at give a few examples of transactions so that we are all doing one business or the other, and that is what it should be, to see how we can be guided and take this individual as a role model. Because again, Abi Hanifa was not just alim, not just a businessman, but he was a person during the day. Most of the time he will be fasting, and during the night he will spend most of the night when he is praying and reciting Qur'an. This is what people say. As I said earlier, these are great men. You see, when we look at the life of Sahaba, any Sahaba for that matter, we have talked about it last year, you will find he's a good example in almost everything. If you look at how much they fast, he will be one of them. How much they pray at night, he will be one of them. How much they go to jihad, they will never be left behind the jihad of Rasulullah. And I have mentioned during the time of Rasul, just 8 years, they had jihad about 75 battles, where some the Prophet was, some was not. If you look at everything, they will be excelling, except maybe one or two things. And these Imam, the Imams, are more or less the same. These people we're talking about are great people in the real sense of the word. If you try to read their biography and contemplate and think how did they achieve all these things, it's like a miracle. Now, when you look at his business, he had quite a number of qualities. He was contented, not greedy, satisfied. So he will do business in that manner, and I will give some examples later. He was Azim Amana, most trustworthy individual in his business. Samhan, he was actually easy to deal with, to work. As Rasulullah says in the hadith, a man should be the one if you deal with, you buy or sell, you are easy person to handle. Not just so shrewd and so difficult. Yes, you should be a shrewd man, but not in the real sense of the word. And we will give the examples. And بالغ التدين شديد التنصت. He was really a religious and very pious individual, as I said earlier. عظيم العبادة يصوم النهار ويقوم الليل. He had a lot of acts of worship, fasting most of the days, inshallah, and remaining awake during the night. They said quite a number of nights he will stay from Isha until Subh, just either doing the Hajjud and reciting Qur'an and doing other type of ibadah. And this reflected in how he was doing business. Let me give a few examples on his transactions. Abi Hanifa, one day, a lady came to her and wanted to sell a piece of cloth made of harir silk, a very valuable. But apparently this lady did not know the value. Maybe she was given as a present by somebody. She's not dealing with this material. So she said, she thought, let me go to somebody who sells this and I get something. So he went to Abi Hanifa and told him, I want to sell this piece of cloth to you. Abi Hanifa is a trader, and his father was. He's very knowledgeable, this is his business. He looked at the material and all that, and he thought this is a very valuable material. So he asked her, how much are you selling it for? He said 100 dirham. Abi Hanifa said, this one, huwa khayrun min dhalik, is worth much more than that. So the lady said 200 dirham. He said it is worth much more than that. The lady said 300 dirham. He said it is worth much more than that. The lady said 400 dirham. He said it is worth much more than that. The lady got annoyed. He said, I am an old lady. You are looking down upon me? He doesn't believe that. He said, okay, if you think so, just look at any tradesman, any trader here, just ask him how much will he buy it for. So she called somebody. He looked at it, said, I'm ready to buy it for 500 dirham. So he sold it. She sold it to that person. Abi Hanifa was just showing. He is not an individual like us. When we find, we will say, this is the opportunity. She has sold it 5 times the value he said at the beginning. We will exploit the situation, thinking this is the way to make money. But here is an individual who doesn't want to exploit the situation. If he wants to be shrewd, he wants to be shrewd to a good businessman who knows what he's doing. He's a willing buyer, willing seller. But here's an individual maskeen who has got only one piece of cloth, doesn't even know how wide it is. If it were me and you, then would say, 100. Why don't you sell it for me for 80? If she said 100, 80, she will agree. Or said, okay, I'll give you 100, but that's a very big price, so that she doesn't change her mind. This is how we handle the situation, thinking we have gained that day. But if you get the blessing of Allah and you have looked at all this, then you can imagine how much you are going to sell, and you can imagine this lady and others like her, how they are going to praise you that you are really a very loyal and trustworthy individual, and your business will really continue, even if you get small margin of the profit, but you will be selling in a big way, selling a lot. That's one of the examples. Another example. Somebody went to Abi Hanifa, a lady, and said, I am da'if, I'm weak and poor, and I want to buy something which is a man I've been trusted to buy. Can you sell me something reasonable? And she decided what she wanted. And Abi Hanifa said, it is 4 dirham. He said, are you looking down upon me? Because it's worth much more than that. He said, no. I have bought 2 clothes of that type. And I have sold the first one for the price I'm just left with 4 dirham. In other words, if I sell you this second one for 4 dirham, I have gained what I have spent. So the lady agreed. Now it does not mean all the time she will be doing that. I'll give an example. But you see, he looked at the situation and found this is a situation, a critical, a pathetic individual. Why don't I help her? A third example. A friend of his asked him and said, I want a piece of cloth with this characteristic, 1, 2, 3, 4. Abi Hanifa said, okay, give me time. I will look for it. Within less than a week, he called him and said, I've got what you want. He showed him the piece of cloth. He said, how much is it? He said, 1 dirham. He said, now, why are you playing with me? He said, no, I bought 2 pieces of cloth for 21 dirham. I have sold one for 20 dirham, and I'm left with this and 1 dirham. So if you buy it for 1 dirham. Of course, not exaggeration, he had made other profits for other businesses. But this perhaps is a friend and he knows his situation, and he finds this is the way to help that individual. These are some of the stories of Abi Hanifa, how he was dealing with people. And then he was so careful to make sure all what he gets is halal. One day, he left a friend of his called Hafs ibn Abdul Rahman with some pieces of cloth. He said, here are some, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever number. But this one of them has got a defect. Make sure before somebody buys, you check the defects. You know, in Islam, if you sell something which has defect, it is your duty to explain to the individual, this car I'm selling you has got this and this problem. It had an accident, I changed this, rather than us to try to cover whatever it had, and then we don't tell. You can imagine that individual, if you're in that business of selling cars and you say that, and he doesn't even need to go to send it to the garage and mechanic, and if he does, it's the same. Perhaps you have told him much more. How much will he trust? And how much will make your name? Leave alone about other tawab. This was Abi Hanifa. Now this individual, forgetting everything, he sold everything. Abi Hanifa came back and said, have you sold all those clothes already? He said, yes. Did you explain to that individual who came and bought that specific cloth which had some defects? He said, I forgot. Do you remember the person so that we can try to get? He said, no. He said, okay, give me the money. And he gave out a sadaqah charity, all of that money. This was Abi Hanifa. Easy said than done. But if you believe in Allah, that the barakah is from Allah, you can get what you want, and then you have all the other issues coming, with the income tax and other issues, theft, and all the issues can come. But if you believe what is halal is the one which is blessed by Allah, you will do what Abu Hanifa has done, but there are very few of us who can do that. Then, as I said yesterday, he will calculate what he has got every year and see the profit he made, and then distribute most of it to the mashayikh and muhaddithin, to various shuyukh and various shuyukh of hadith and other specialization. And then he will give them clothes, and then he will give them some money and say, "Iqdu hawaijakum." Try to do all what you want so that you are self-sufficient. And وَلَا تَحْمِدُوا إِلَّا اللَّهِ. Do not thank except Allah. This is fadl of Allah He has given me, and I want you to be self-sufficient. Of course, he will use other things that we are going to talk. He was so concerned about muru'at al-ulama, the honor of the scholars. His two students, Abu Yusuf and Muhammad al-Hassan al-Shaybani, were told he was sponsoring. Let's put it in today's time, he was giving them bursary, taking care of themselves and their families all the days they have been studying. And this he used to do quite a lot. It's just like a foundation where it gives even scholarship to the students and even looking after the sheikhs who have taught him. Subhanallah. But he was very particular about his appearance. He will put the best type of clothes. His clothes, if you combine, can cost about 30 dinar. At that time, that was a big money. He wanted to be seen with a proper personality. And this is again another very important to all of us, and much more so to our shuyukh and leaders. I have sat in quite a number of interviews in the panel, and they need somebody who knows about Islam for one reason or the other, and somebody comes, my dear brothers, especially the young people, and specifically pointing these things to you, somebody comes, not well presented, not well dressed for the occasion, and other issues. Even if you want to help that individual, there is a panel. There is a system of the scholars, as all of you know, who sit inside panels. You cannot help. So the world has changed. There are places you need really to be different. Not that you are proud, but you look proper. And if you have a position, dress to that position. And keep yourself to that position so that people do not easily look down upon you. Especially we as Muslims sometimes. Especially if the things connected with ilm. We are the only people who can raise the status of ulama and shuyukh, not others. Nobody else will do that. I remember when I was discussing with the son of one of the chief fathers, Allah yarhamu Shaykh Muhammad Qasim. He was a very tough person to the non-Muslims, and he was really trying to maintain his personality. When they understand, the DC by then, during the colonial time, came to his office, and he was putting a shop. And before he talked to him, he just looked specifically straight to where his knees are. And the man just apologized and went back and tried to put on a trouser a long way. We need, if you are in that position, don't accept in the car, or if it is Land Rover, to be put behind. No, that is not tawadu. It's tawadu with your Muslims. When you are with others, you have to show that you are fighting for that rank. If you are taken easily as a leader, the others will be despised much more. So Abu Hanifa, coming back to him, I'm sorry I divide, but that is the pleasure of these stories. Is to try and see what is our situation, where sometimes we don't, and maybe sometimes we don't do that, specifically just because we think that is the best. One day, a good friend of mine, Sheikh, I respect him older than me, I was just giving a talk somewhere in the mosque, and as usual, when I come to the mosque to give a talk, I put on the attire which deserves it. So after the talk, he told me, Sheikh, and he was quite close, if you are always putting on like this, I said, my dear Sheikh, all what I've said and all this was not so important to me, just the attire. I am going back to the university. I'm one of the senators. Not that I cannot put on this, but there's nothing wrong if I put on my suit and the tie there. And if it demands somewhere else, I'll put differently. So let's not put mawahir, just the appearance, sometimes beyond what they deserve. Where it deserves, yes. Where you are sheikh, yes. Where the imam, yes. But where you go for somewhere else, and you think that another type of dressing will give you a much better situation depending upon the people who are, there's nothing wrong about that. Let's narrow so much the religion on specific type of issues where the weight is not as much as what is in your inside, as long as you don't do anything wrong. Abi Hanifa would spend quite a lot of his dress. He would put the best perfume. After all, he self-dresses, so why shouldn't he? The best perfume, because he wanted to be seen attractive. One day, and he wanted that to his close friends. One day, somebody was sitting with him in the halaqah, and he was putting on not properly. And when the people left, Abi Hanifa told him, just wait. When everybody else has left, he told him, just open that cupboard underneath. There was 1,000 dirham. He said, take this and prepare yourself to look a bit better. The brother said, Sheikh, I'm okay. I'm quite wealthy. I don't need it. He said, Inna Allah yuhibbu an yara athara ni'matihi ala abdi. Allah likes to see the ni'mah, the blessings He has given you on yourself. Why should you think حتى لا يغتم بك صديق لا يغتم بك صديق? Why do you do that until a close friend of yours starts getting worried that maybe you have problems? So these are some of the issues Abi Hanifa used to do. I will just end up and tomorrow talk about how Abi Hanifa handled the political situations with various khulafa. But before that, I just want to make one statement. Abi Hanifa lived, as I said, early 70 years. He was born in 80 Hijri and died 150 Hijri, so he lived 70 years. 52 years he spent during the Dawla al-Amawiyya, or Umayyad, during the Umayyad dynasty. Umayyad dynasty started in 41 with Muawiyah and ended in 132 with Marwan bin Muhammad. So he spent 52 years with the Dawla al-Umayyah and spent the rest 18 years with the Dawla al-Abbasiyya, Abbasid dynasty, which came later. I will try, inshallah, tomorrow to explain what was his relation with the Dawla al-Umayyah and what was his relation with the Dawla al-Abbasiyya, to show you his stand in these political situations, what was his stand, so that we can imitate him. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله